Hei, hei. Takk for sist og velkommen. Det kjekt å snakke med alle dere. Thanks for the last time. Welcome. It's always fun to talk to all of you. So I am on my way to, well, I actually just drove into Oklahoma. I'm on my way to Oklahoma City, finish up a job, and then I head back to Amarillo, Texas. So I'm kind of all over the place all the time. Apologize if this is a little shaky. A little piece fell off of my stick thing here, so I will do my best. But I wanted to kind of tell a little bit different kind of story today. Normally I'm talking about Norway. I have a bunch of Viking stuff I want to talk about too, which I will get to. But I just got back from a Labor Day weekend with a whole bunch of friends. We went riding, ATVs, swimming in the river, just hanging out, having a few cold ones, BSing. Just a freaking awesome long weekend. We went up for 4 nights, 4 days to Lava Hot Springs in Idaho. And if you're from that kind of western part of the US and you get a chance, go there. It's freaking amazing. The town's really cool. You know, kind of a touristy little town with some coffee shops and bars and restaurants, and just kind of a cool place to hang out, not to mention the hot springs themselves, which is really cool. They've got like 4 different pools ranging from about 102 degrees to 112 or 113, which is toasty. I keep my hot tub at 104, 105, and that's pretty warm. The 112 you can't sit in for a real long time, although that's mostly where we hung out. Although my wife Kate does not like it that hot at all. She likes the 102 pool, so we hung out there for a while too. One of my sons managed to get up and hang out with us for 2 nights, and then he got sick, which sucked. Shout out Cooper, hope you're feeling better. Anyway, I'm gonna get to my story now. So this story has nothing to do with Norway, although it'd be cool to hear after you hear this, if anybody's got kind of experiences to do with this in Norway. I would love to hear that. So I'm gonna talk about UFOs, which I'm fascinated by UFOs. I really am. It's something I've always been interested in. You know, the experience I'm going to tell you about, obviously I would believe in them. But you know, it's one of those things you look back and you're like, did that happen? Was that real? Because at the time when this happened to me, I was 16 years old, so it's over 40 years ago. And I didn't tell any of my friends about it. So I grew up in this little town, Taber, Alberta. I've mentioned it before, up in Canada. The big city to us was Lethbridge, Alberta, which was about a half hour away. And I'm trying to study this. Man, I suck at this. And we'd go up there every Friday and Saturday night once we started driving. We'd take turns driving, and you know, it was my turn to drive. And we usually didn't get home till 2 or 3 in the morning when we go up on the weekends, which was pretty much every weekend. So I get back to my house in Taber at somewhere between 2 and 3 in the morning. And we lived kind of on the outskirts of town. Like, it's not anymore, but where we lived, our house was the last street. And then there was this kind of old mobile home park across the street from us with a few mobile homes. And then behind that was the slaughterhouse where, you know, they take the cows. And just to kind of give you an idea how big the slaughterhouse was, it was the size of a couple of big houses put together. I mean, it was a fairly decent sized building. And that's relevant to the story, as you'll hear in a little bit here. So this was around the time, any of you that are in your, I don't know, older than what, 45, 50 years old, probably remember back in the 70s, there was a lot of this cow mutilation stuff going around, and aliens and all that stuff, you know. Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out, what, somewhere around then, 77 to 80, somewhere in there, I'm guessing. So anyway, kind of is relevant too. So I get back and I go to the fridge and I'm getting a snack, you know, just a late night snack before I go to bed. And my bedroom was downstairs. And from our kitchen, it was connected to the front room. And you could see the picture window out our front living room there. Boy, if this is as shaky as it's looking, this is rough. This thing's, you know what? I'm gonna take this off. Hold on, I'm gonna restart. Boy, I gotta get better at this. I just told the whole freaking story and realized when I reached up to adjust the phone that I turned it off again. So, yeah, so I'm looking out our picture window and I stare for a long time because I can't make sense of what I'm seeing. And, you know, I mentioned there were red and blue lights and I thought the cops had pulled somebody over. There were red and blue lights, but there were other lights as well. But I can't describe them as the kind of colors that you see in everyday life. Like if you looked at a Christmas tree and you see red and blue and green, it wasn't like that. It's really hard to describe, so I won't even try because I don't know how to put it into words. And it was kind of settling what I thought was on top of the slaughterhouse. Turned out it was settling behind the slaughterhouse. And remember I said the slaughterhouse was the size of 2, maybe 3 big houses. Big houses. And it starts settling behind, and I could see the bottom of it, or at least what I perceived as the bottom, but it was almost translucent. Like it didn't look solid, the bottom. And it was just crazy. And you know, my brain was trying to make sense of this. I hope some of you don't think I'm just completely crazy now and say I'm out, unsubscribe. By the way, if you like what I'm doing and you're digging these videos, I'd really appreciate it if you'd click subscribe and give me a like. I know it's cheesy, but I'm a cheesy guy. So it's settling behind this big building. And it's so big that its sides are sticking out on both sides. And I can still kind of see the bottom, but I couldn't tell if it had touched down. And you know, this is a 42-year-old memory, and you know what they say about memories. When you remember something, you're remembering the memory of it. So, you know, how clear it is in my head is I'm even unsure of it, but you know, it's an experience I'll never forget. So I think it settled down, but as it was settling down, you know, the bottom didn't look solid, so it was really hard to figure out if it was touching ground or not. But I started thinking, if this is what I think I'm seeing, a UFO, you know, maybe it was some government secret thing, I have no idea. But what if there's aliens in there, and what if they see me standing in this big picture window staring at them? I'm going to be the next guy that's going to be abducted and taken up there and, you know, probed. I'm like, and all of a sudden, just sheer fear came over me. And I ran downstairs. I didn't get undressed for bed. I got under my covers, and I did not come out until morning. I finally fell asleep, I think. But it was a crazy experience. And not long after that, excuse me, I don't know if my dad will remember this. My dad is Arne Larson, and he's actually in Norway right now with my mom and my sister. One of my aunts just sent me a picture of the whole group of them hanging out, you know, like Norwegians like to do, with all their little snacks and bread and sliced cheese and meats. Oh man, that makes me want to go back. Anyway, they're over there hanging out, and Dad, if you remember this, you can comment below here. So we were outside of town again, just not far from our house, but the road that we were on led to the Old Man River, which I've mentioned before. It's kind of down in, like I said, up in Canada, they call these gullies, where you can't see my hand down here, where the river runs through it. They call them coulees. So we were heading down the coulees. Actually, we weren't quite there yet. We were on the road going out there and riding bikes, and we saw something up in the sky. It was just kind of a smallish dot, but it was doing weird stuff. It was just kind of moving unnaturally for like a plane or a helicopter or anything else like that. I promise I'm not insane. Ask my friends and my family. Well, they might say I am. I don't know. I'm a little crazy, that's for sure. But we kind of started riding our bikes faster, and as I remember it, it kind of whipped ahead, whipped back, and then it was just gone. So I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what you guys think of that. You know, leave some comments if you got stories or something. If you got more to add to that, if you're like, hey, talk about blah, 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 that'd be cool. I dig hearing from you guys, the comments, the views. it just makes my day. You guys are all so awesome. And shout out to the Norwegian groups on Facebook that I'm a member of. You guys are all so cool and so friendly and so nice. And I appreciate it a lot. Anyway, I think that's about all I got to say right now. So till nästa gång, till next time, vi ska snacka igen. We'll talk again. By the way, see, the Stavanger region where I'm from, most of Norway says vi for we. In Stavanger, we say me for the most part. So vi snackas igen means we'll talk again soon. Sorry, it's been like 9 days since I did a video. I try to do a couple a week, but with the Labor Day weekend and everything, I just kind of got wrapped up in all of that. So, vi snackas snart. And I might have got the grammar wrong there, because like I say, I speak it fairly decently, but every once in a while I'll say something. I'm like, was that right? And you can nicely correct me, or you can be mean too if you want. If you're mean, I'll just ignore you. If you're nice, I'll give you a shout out. So, vi snackar snart, och det var käckt att snacka med er. Käckt is fun. And instead of peace, we'll say fred, which means peace. Ha det bra.